All right, you guys, welcome back to part 3 for margin of error. All right, so we're going to be calculating the margin of error again, but this problem, because of the words that they have used, it's going to indicate a different variable. All right, so let's just look at some of the words that we're going to be exposed to in this problem, and then also the formula that we're going to be working with. All right, so you're going to see the mean. Okay, mathematically, we notate that with an X and a bar over it. You've got standard deviation, okay? That should be familiar from last year. And if it's not, let me know and I can shoot you a video on standard deviation, okay? That's going to be a lowercase s, okay? And then our MO, our margin of error. Formula, because we have different information given to us, all right, is s divided by the square root of n, okay? And remember, n from our previous problem was our population, okay? All right, so let's look at what we got in Delta Math here. All right, it says a study, I could not talk today. A study of a local high school tried to determine the mean number of text messages that each student sent per day. The study surveyed a random sample of 146 students in the high school and found a mean of 185 messages sent per day with a standard deviation of 95 messages. At the 95% confidence level, find the margin of error for the mean rounding to the nearest whole number. All right, so let's look through this example and look at the numbers we've been presented. Part of word problems is just organizing those numbers and identifying what they are. All right, so we have a random sample of 146 students. All right, so that's going to be our population. So we got 146 students, okay? We've got a mean of 185 messages. And we have a standard deviation of 95. Okay, so that's all the numbers they presented to me in the problem. Okay, but the question, now I have to take the question and I have to use what they gave me. I don't always have to use everything they gave me. It says find the margin of error. All right, so my MO, well, that's 2 times, my formula says to take S and divide it by the square root of n. Well, S, standard deviation, 95, divided by the square root of my population, which is n, so 146. So that's what I'm going to type into Desmos. Okay, so let's pull up Desmos. 2, parentheses, I need a fraction again. In the numerator, I need 95. In the denominator, let me hide again, keyboard, square root, oops, and it jumped away from me. Let me get back there in the denominator, square root 146. All right, so my MO is equal to 15.7245. Okay, so let's go back here and switch over to Delta Math. It says to round to the nearest whole number and do not write plus or minus, okay? Because remember, I could use this margin of error to create a confidence interval, okay? But I've not been asked to do that. So I'm only looking at what's my margin of error? What would I be adding plus and minus to? All right, it says round to the nearest whole number. Well, that means I take 7, and that's going to make that a 16. So let's see how we did. 16, submit my answer. There we go. Okay. All right. So let's talk about that. You were given the mean, okay, of 185 messages per day. So this 185 was not used. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with not being required to use all the numbers they gave you. Okay. Sometimes they just give you extra information to kind of just help educate you more about what the problem is asking you. Okay. All right. If you've got any questions, you know how to find me. All right. Good luck, you guys.